What up, everybody? I'm Jay the Kid. That's Broke Boy Bray.
Yo, yo.
And right here on the end, we got our boy LC from 773. We got our boy Visionary 23. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest today. From Reality of Wrestling, representing La Familia, El Brazo Verte de la Familia, we have Jay Alexander.
In the
Let's
flesh.
go.
In the
How you
flesh.
doing, man? How you doing?
Never better, brother. Never better.
For the people who may not know you real quick, I just want to play a small
Everybody
little
knows me.
package of
Everybody knows me.
understandable. But we gonna play a clip for you just in case you might be sleeping under a rock or something.
Yeah, that was cool.
Ask for some PTO. Jay Alexander. Oh my God, that ladder bent in half. It just snapped.
What they're sending. Oh, Chris Cruz reversing it.
Pop-up power bomb! Jay Alexander. Cruz gonna go at him. Another. Hung
Cruz
up on
getting
the
hung
net.
up.
Oh, just deadlifting him.
no.
Power bomb on the muerte infernal. And
Loving what he's bringing to this ring right
looking
now.
for that cue cutter. Doesn't get it. And big!
Again.
Looking to score. Doesn't catch it. Alexander slips him through.
Oh my God.
He's got the big man up. Oh, here. And now Jay Alexander. Looking for a belly to belly.
Oh, a lot of just keeping Bronner in that opposite corner.
Oh, hey.
Come on now.
And
Exactly apples for apples against a man like Jay Alexander.
Definitely not. Very smart. Oh, beautiful judo throw by
Any
Alexander.
different.
But that's just a little taste of what this man brings to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him on the show here today, so we just gonna get started with asking Jay pretty much about you currently being the reality of wrestling with being the strong arm of the family. Like, how does it feel finding a home with La Familia with your boys Jonathan Vega and Diego De La Cruz?
So I'm very familiar with Vega. Primo is still someone I'm relatively new to. I have faced across from him, and I was victorious. That was at GCWA in Corpus Christi. So he's very familiar with what I bring to the table as well. Vega as well. I hold a victory over him, and then I won my Texas Championship over Aiden Cristiano at Christmas Chaos like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I was in my rookie, just over my rookie year. So Aiden's very familiar. It's just opportunity. When you're at reality wrestling, as you guys have seen, you're surrounded by the best talent, bar none, bar none. You name another independent company that has gone toe to toe with Impact. I don't know if y'all seen that show. It's called Deep Impact, but it was reality wrestling versus TNA wrestling, and it was
Mm.
split right down the middle tied. I don't know any other independent company of a bunch of no names that can go tit for tat and tie some of the talent like Moose and Jordan Grace and you name it over at TNA at the time. The Rascals, now Wesley. We've all already seen what they're doing in NXT, and then even with their current run, Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz right now in TNA. What other independent company can do it? So in a roster this thick, it's how do you get in where you fit in, and how do you maximize your opportunities? And Familia possesses very similar qualities, attributes, and has the same goals on their mind as I do. So it was just a natural fit.
That's great. That's great. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys do over there in Reality of Wrestling. And I'm pretty sure it always drops on Sundays, correct?
Typically, yeah. They like to mix it up here and there. There's been Saturday and Friday episodes, but
Hmm.
yeah, for the most part, you can catch them on Sunday evenings, about 6-7 p.m. Central Time.
So just make sure you guys are tuned in to the Reality of Wrestling YouTube channel and everything. So be out for the content and be out for La Familia. Brejan, what was one of your
100%.
questions?
Man, first off, I just want to say thanks, Jay, for the opportunity to go ahead and interview you, man. This is huge for everything. We just appreciate you taking the
No,
time
of
to
course,
talk
man.
to us and everything, man.
Of
So the
course.
first question I have for you, just as being a wrestler yourself, like, what has been like one of your favorite experiences so far? Like as you said, like you've only been wrestling for a few years. Like, what would you say your best experience you've had in the independent scene has been at this point?
First and foremost, the talent. I'll tell you right now, what you see on the big leagues. Um, Not knocking anyone in the big leagues; they're there for a reason. That's all I'll say about that. But uh, there is astronomical and exorbitant amount of independent talent that could easily be on the big stage, tomorrow, tonight. It's crazy how many phenomenal people you meet. And that's probably been one of the coolest things is I'm a people person, but I'm not a people person. I'm the most extrovert introvert you'll ever meet. I
I
like
felt
meeting
that.
people, shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like meeting people and shaking hands with the day. Leave me alone. I want to go home. So, respectfully, with that being said, you meet a lot of really good quality people. There's snakes in the grass anywhere. So I'm not going to sit here and, cry me a river about, uh, the backstabbers in the business. Man, there's that in everything. There's that in life. There's people that pretend to be your friend, and anything they can get from you they steal. But genuinely, the people have been number one. The experiences have been number two. I've gone to Canada, dude. I've gone all over the states, to see these people on TV, and then get a chance to wrestle them, whether it be, for me it was Matt Riddle, Lance Archer, Gangrel. I've wrestled Gangrel. It's
Absolutely
just,
great match, by the way.
oh,
I
I
caught
appreciate
that.
it.
I ended up
There's a
watching
few,
that. That's a very good
yeah, there's a
match.
few nuances in that where we were. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, just it's the experiences, man. The people, the experiences. There really, truly is nothing like professional wrestling, and I don't mean that necessarily from a fan standpoint of watching, but I mean that as a performer and what we get to. Uh, Experience backstage, because at the end of the day, typically your performers are massive fans. That's how they start. So to start out as a massive fan and then get to rub elbows and actually get to lock up and, bump around someone that you grew up watching or, idolized and what have you is, man, I don't know how I can put that in words.
Now I can imagine that's a very hard thing to put into words, but yeah, no, I can totally see that. Yeah, just meeting the different people, getting to wrestle them.
Hmm.
You're 100% right. Like there are a bunch of indie talents that we don't even know of that, like you mentioned, are very talented and very much could be on the
Hmm.
big stage the next day. You never know. That's just like the crazy part about the wrestling industry.
100%.
All right. Chris, it's on you.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks again, Jay, for tuning in. This is
Absolutely.
something I've been looking forward to for a while. I've literally saw you and Gangrel's match in person.
Oh,
That was like
word.
my first introduction to you, and I'm like, damn, who is this swole ass dude here?
Yeah, man, I
And I'm
appreciate it.
like,
That's
he's
awesome.
literally tossing everybody around, and then it's like a full circle moment. It was like,
That's awesome. Well, that's really cool, man. I love hearing
man,
that.
this is
Truly.
different. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, thank you. So my question to start off with, most importantly, what is the most important match preparation for you?
Oh man, I love these questions. By the way, I haven't been asked a lot of these. My match preparation. So, man, as you've seen, right? Like physical fitness is number one for me, right? I want to be. I'm a machine, and it's only befitting that I've been, dubbed. I was given this moniker, the Texas Terminator, by a promoter that I worked for. But literally, it's befitting because I'm a machine. So 7 days a week, 24/7, 365. I do not miss a gym day. It doesn't matter. It could be something as simple as cardio, and that's been as little as 30 minutes. It's been as much as an hour on the stairs or elliptical. Um, you know, I have to do something like fitness, before I can even step foot in the ring, which is crazy because you think, oh, you'd be exhausted, you'd be tired, but not me. Like it wakes me up, it gets the juices flowing. And then when I get to, so I'll do something during the morning. I'll probably get faded up, like early afternoon, probably around noonish, and then we report to call time, and then from there, I typically have the shirt off and I'm ripping weights or I'm doing something backstage to keep somewhat of a pump, um, up until match time. and I pop the insane veins, which is just it's a vasodilator. It gets the veins popping a little bit, induces blood flow, which is good too because it carries oxygen as well. And I
Much
like to
needed.
stay on top of my game, man. I'm not one of those guys that looks like a freaking brick wall, but then 5 minutes in I'm gassed. Like
Right.
I can go 5 minutes, I can go 50 minutes, I can go 50 years. I'm a physical anomaly, and I say that as humbly and modestly as I can put it. There's not a soul that's going to be or that's going to be able to out athleticism me. And it's funny because even what you guys see in the ring with the power, dude, that's literally just a morsel of what I bring to the table. I can do what Will All Day can do. I can do what Eli Knight can do, but when it comes down to it, like what's necessary on the card, right? That Eli Knight's Eli Knight, Will All Day's Will All Day. They don't have a BSF, which is an inside thing. Ryan Davidson actually dubbed me Big Strong. I don't know if we can cuss on this, but you know what the F
Oh,
is.
all day long.
Go
Uh,
ahead,
Big
cuss.
strong
Go ahead,
fuck.
cuss. I'm not gonna lie
Hey,
to you.
big bro.
I got something I'm gonna curse about you here in a second. So go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I'll for the for the young ones that might see this BSF. I'll let you figure out what the F is, but Big Strong. There's
Hmm.
no one that can muscle you like I can, and it's funny because when we go over the matches, a lot of the guys are like, "Oh, can we practice this, or do you think you can?" And I just laugh, and I'm like, "Dude, I've
They ain't
legit
seen
power
nothing
bombed.
yet.
Yeah, I've legit power bombed on my shoulders, Angel Camacho. I've deadlifted
Damn.
7 foot, 300 pound Drake Durden. I've also I'm sure y'all saw the power slam off the top from on Angel. So if I want you to go, you're gonna go, whether we're working together or not.
So
So
Right.
you don't have a
so
choice.
just summer.
I'm gonna throw you whether you want me to or not.
Yeah, you'll
It's
be
fine.
fine. You'll be good. Just tuck your chin. No, but yeah. So as far as the match preparation goes, I have to do something active. I'm not one that can just wake up, show up, and sit there for hours and then just go do a match. Like I have to be active. Something. I have to do something.
Constant movement.
Got you. But I'm sorry to anybody who really hasn't seen anything. The fact of if you look at him when he's walking to the ring, you see how muscular and like how like dominant he looks like going into a match.
This is why.
It's
I
more
apologize. This is why.
That protein.
It's all food,
Man.
man. It's all food. Continue. I don't mean to cut
See,
you off.
no,
A
you
lot of
all
people think
good. You all
the weight
good.
room. The weight
So
room contributes, but it starts here in the kitchen, man. That people don't understand that I eat up to probably about 4 pounds of protein and 4 pounds of carbs a day. It's all eating. It's all eating. You can lift all day, but it's all eating. But I don't mean to cut you off. Continue.
no, no, you all good. You all good. But it's a clip. It was a clip in the video that I was gonna show, but I didn't want to get too far off in it. But for a guy like your stature and everything, being able to do a whisper in the wind,
Hmm. Yep.
being able to do it with such clean ease, like it didn't look like how most guys like your size and everything come off the rope, like it looks like a little like it looks stumbly, like you can see like all that
Hmm.
body weight at the top ain't supporting the bottom down.
Hmm.
He hit it so cleanly and then just brushed it off like it was nothing, just
I have.
immediately started flexing. It's just like it's crazy to like know that you can pretty much do anything in the ring that's being asked to be done.
100%. 100%.
But Visionary, your question?
Jay, it's an honor to have you on our show.
I
Uh, my
appreciate you.
question, my question is, what's your favorite character or gimmick you've seen in wrestling so far?
Oh, that's a hard one, man. So I guess I'm gonna put that on the same playing field as people that have asked me who my favorite wrestler is, man. So that's it. I
Mm.
don't have a favorite wrestler. So RVD and Jeff Hardy got me into wrestling. That's who piqued my interest because, like I said, athleticism. Um, but as far as character and gimmick, man, that's what made me become a pro wrestler. What got me like interested in wrestling was RVD and Jeff Hardy, but what got me into wrestling was like '09 Randy Orton's heel work, right? You're talking Edge, the
Oh,
ultimate
Okay.
opportunist. You're talking Triple
Edge.
H. Triple H is as terrible of a human being as he was.
Hmm.
He was gnarly, right? You just, which is ironic because I was a huge
You
Cena
fucked
fan. Like
me
who
up.
wasn't, right? Everyone loved John
Hmm.
Cena because he was just larger than life, this superhero. But as
Yeah.
and I hated, dude, I hated a lot of the heels, which they did their job, right? I hated them, right?
Right.
And it's funny now coming into the business, all these years later, and when I first got introduced, uh, the creative was, hey, you're going to be a baby face because you have this stature, this physique, all guys want to be you, all girls want to date you. So, just play to the crowd. You're gonna be this huge baby face. Okay. And then literally like the next week I get a key to the facility and they're like, oh, hey, by the way, you're debuting with the Renegades. I'm like, well, they're bad guys. And I'm like, I don't know how to, I've been practicing and training how to be a good guy. Well, I don't know how to be a bad guy. And then Gino Medina was like, excuse me, he goes, you're going to be beating people up. He's like, so learn good strikes.
Mhm.
So me being my stature, there's no reason I need to punch you 400 times, right? I'm going to hit you. When I hit you, you're going to feel it. So if you ever see me throw strikes, it's typically 1 to 3 max.
Yeah.
Because like you're going to, if I catch you, you should be knocked out. Right.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Fold in half.
yeah, well, long story short, very long story long, like I grew up and I appreciated the heels so much. I worked a card with Mr. Kennedy, right?
Oh yeah.
Ken
Mm.
Anderson. And I was like, and I just looked at him, he was looking at me and I was like, dude, F you. And he started laughing. He goes, why? And I was like, when that mic used to drop and you would just wait for it, and then your little smug, pompous ass used to, oh, dude, that made my blood boil. And he's like, and he laughed, and he
Yeah.
clapped his hands, he's like, good. And I'm like, dude, but now I'm like, it was just so effortless and so magical because I appreciate it now being a heel primarily. I can do the baby face, but anyway, I'm getting off the beaten path. I apologize for rambling, but no,
No, you all
Nah,
good.
you good.
it's it is just that. It's the heel. It's the gimmick. Dude, you're talking. Stone Cold's just the minute the glass breaks, like you knew he was there to mess up. And then, Edge's heel work. Orton, love Orton.
Yeah.
Cena's, ability to, a lot of he gets a lot of flack for calling stuff very loud. But on the flip side, you look at it like he's listening to the crowd and he's adjusting and the game plan to accommodate so that they're there and they can react. A lot of guys nowadays go out there and they just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and make the
Mhm.
crowd enjoy it as opposed to work with the crowd and have the crowd be a part of it. And so even if we have stuff like already scheduled, right? Like if you're a good worker, you're gonna okay. If you're a good worker, you're gonna know how to adjust on the fly. And so it's all that. It's all that.
Yeah.
Got you. Got you. So getting back on to a few things, give out a few of your accomplishments. You mentioning you being the Reality of Wrestling Texas champion for a insanely good amount of time. You were also a River City Wrestling Tag Team champion. You had a professional career in bodybuilding and was it professional football or college football?
I played professional. I did play. I played a professional. I signed an indoor contract with the Dallas Marshals, which was a. Yeah, I'm gonna go in this other room, guys. Sorry, I got family coming in.
Oh, you all
You
good.
all good.
Are you good?
Back up, boys. Back it up. It was a affiliate of the Texas Power, or I'm sorry, that was the team I played for. It was an affiliate of Dallas Marshals. Yeah, the Texas
Mm.
Power. So it was professional.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Ooh.
And then also you being a born and raised Texas guy from Mansfield, correct?
100%. That's my birth. Hey man, you guys did your research. That's my birthplace. Absolutely, Mansfield, Texas.
Okay, okay. So would that make you a Cowboys fan or a Texans fan?
Hell no. So Cowboys are last on my list. I wipe my ass with the Cowboys.
Ooh.
All right.
So
All right.
here's the thing. So growing up, my family's all from Boston,
One
right?
hell of a hill with that answer.
And
Mhm.
oh, dude, I'll play, dude. I've been from LA. Don't ever just an inside tidbit. Don't ever believe immediately where someone's from, their height or their weight.
Right.
There's always a fluff. There's always like if I'm in Dallas, I'll say I'm from Houston. If I'm in Houston, I'm from Dallas. We did a big ballpark event in downtown for the Sugarland Skeeters. Like when I first, it was like it was one of my first few matches. If y'all haven't seen that phenomenal match, it's me, Edge Stone, and Savage King for the TV title at the time. Stone was the TV champion, and Russo, the announcer, announced me from LA, and they booed the daylights out of me. And I get down there and I was joking with him and I was like, LA, huh? And he's like, it's all about the heat, baby. I'm like, all right. So back to the point. Texans through and through. If it's Cowboys versus Texans, my family's originally from Boston, so I grew up, whether I liked it or not, cheering for the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Patriots. And then as I got older and kind of developed this disciplinary mindset and like got into football and really not, I wouldn't say military, but really grew up. Um, I naturally took to the Patriots because they didn't talk; they just went out and played. And I loved that. And the Cowboys were the exact opposite. The Cowboys wanted all the fancy glitz and glamour, the name, the brand, which is cool. Like if I want to make billions of dollars, I'll hire Jerry Jones. If I want a Super Bowl, I'm not touching him with a 100-mile stick. Um, and it was just about the big cars, the
Amen to
women,
that.
and I just wanted to win. I just wanted to win and dominate. So the Patriots, I took this. The Patriots are my number one. Even now, we're getting slaughtered, but it's our time. We ran the league for two decades. It's our time to take a spanking. So it's all good.
I'm not
Patriots
gonna
through and
lie to
through.
you.
But if I have to cheer for a Texas team, it's definitely the Houston Texans.
Not gonna lie
That's
to
how
you.
you feel
I ain't
about the
gonna lie to you. I think
Bears.
I became more of a fan for him. He said fuck the Cowboys. He was a Patriots fan, which means he was a Brady fan, which means I think I might love this man. But it's like that's a whole
Greatest of
different
all time, baby.
conversation.
You can say what you want
I'm
to
just
say. He's the greatest
saying.
of all time.
Here you go.
I,
It's a
Undeniable.
reason it was 2 decades and not just a
100%.
season and a half.
Well, and
you
he
know,
and he verified that when he went to Tampa, first year
Literally.
Tampa. Everyone,
Facts.
Literally.
everyone's like, oh, we're gonna see if it's Belichick or Brady that made the system. One has a job and one won a Super Bowl without the other. I'm just saying.
And
yeah,
with the look around, scratch your head.
I
he
love Bill
definitely
Belichick.
said he definitely
I
told
love,
Gronk like, get your ass up. Come
yeah,
on.
I love Belichick. What they did was unheard of. But I mean, the proof's in the pudding. One of them got amicably separated, right, and the other won a Super Bowl without the other. So I'm just saying, the proof's in the pudding.
True, true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Ray John.
So I know one of the more harder things for the wrestler to develop, especially early on in their career, is like finding a finisher or final move that kind of
Hmm.
sets in with them and is something that is comfortable for them. So my question to you is, how did you come up with your finisher and the name for it?
So the name, I let the announcers and the commentators pick my names. Um, I just feel like it's more the creative spin. As far as the move, I really didn't know, to be honest. And of course, you get all your input from everyone around you. And I distinctly remember, like, someone's like, "Well, you lift a bunch of people, or like you throw everybody around. It's like it has to be something where you can lift someone above your head and plant them." Okay, so I don't know why or how, but I love, 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 love. Even to this day, Bobby Lashley was a huge fan of Bobby Lashley in the early to mid 2000s when he debuted as well.
I need that match.
Um, so, oh man, he'd kill me. Hey, he's a monster,
I need
dude.
an Iron Man, you versus
Oh,
Bobby right
dude,
now.
he's
60
a.
That'd be
minutes.
heat.
I might wave the white flag, man. I don't. No, I'll give it my all, but no, he's a behemoth, man. He's always been. And he hasn't changed a lick in
Very huge
two
man when I
decades.
met him. No doubt.
But he does the Dominator, and so I basically just kind of. I mean, if I'm being honest, stole it, but instead of going straight down, I go to the side, and I do more of like a whip down. So we're like it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Bobby's is still killer. Like he's just gonna chunk you down on your face. Like me, it's kind of the same thing without just doing it. It's just to the side. But and then at the time, I was the purveyor of punishment, so the dealer of punishment. And one of the commentators was like, "How? What do I call this?" And I'm like, "When you record the match with commentary, you surprise me." So he called it the deal breaker. So that moves the deal breaker. I haven't changed it. And then it got to a point where like I'm facing bigger guys. I can pick them up, but if I'm hitting a finish on them, and I'm doing that, it needs to be like we're 3 or 4 matches in, we're in a deep story. Like you got to make it make sense. If I'm just facing a one-off big guy, I shouldn't be able to pick him up and throw him around like that. So it's like, well, you need something that you can finish guys with, that you don't really necessarily kill their size by picking them up the way you do. And I said, okay. So I was actually working with EC3, and he really liked my pump kick. I was doing the pump kick as like a connection move,
Mm.
and he was like, "Do that again." And so I did it again. He's like, "Why isn't that your finish?" I don't know. And so I just kind of connected it. And I said, "You know what? The pump kick, so basically the Sheamus's bro kick, will be my finisher for guys that I just need a quick 3 on. I'll even throw it on smaller guys because if you think about it as a heel, you unless you're being pushed, you shouldn't want to win dominating, and like unless you're like told to, right? Like as a heel, the story should be you cheated or you got one up on some BS or like get the heat. And so typically I'm like, dude, I'll even throw it on a smaller guy if like I'm getting bopped around the comeback and it's bing bing bing, boom, there's the pump kick, 1 2 3. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
It's something quick. So
Break his head
and
off real quick.
yeah,
From
and,
there.
and so that I didn't have a name either. And Kirby Carrion actually called it the Salvation because of Terminator Salvation. So you have the deal breaker, which is my overhead, bang, slam him down, Dominator, and then you have my bro kick, which is the Salvation.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
LC.
So those are the stories about how I got my finishers and how they're named.
Mm. All
All
right, all
right.
right.
Okay, yeah. This was definitely one that I needed to ask. Based off any error whatsoever in wrestling from the very start to current day, who is someone that you would love to share the ring with as your very first match?
Man, I want to work everybody and anybody. I think if we're not tagging, uh, I think it would, if you want an Iron Man match truly that's befitting of equal standard, I think me and Braun Breaker would tear it down.
Oh yeah,
True.
easy,
I
True.
definitely say
Because
that.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't hear the
Oh
end of that.
yeah.
I never hear the end of that. No matter where I go, who I'm working, where I'm at, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker. I said, if we're not going to tag, man, then we need to go at it.
right. I'd rather see the tag and Iron Man with that
I don't know
extra
who
I'd
would
rather see
time.
the
I
Iron Man. I'm
I don't know who
sorry.
would win. I don't know who
Let
would beat
the
us.
Iron Man match build up the tag team.
So
Nope. I
that
just
from start to finish, and it's ironic because like I watched Survivor Series. I posted this on my Facebook. I watched Survivor Series, and I haven't really been following the product as closely as I used to. And I watched Survivor Series War Games, and I kid you not, I've never taken anything from me and Braun came in at the same time. We're both about 4 years in, and um, his like right now, I watched him a little bit in the beginning of when NXT became like this really colorful, like Fruit Loop, like burst box cereal type color scheme and stuff.
2.0.
The 2.0, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, the colors were god awful. Anyway,
we ain't gonna
huge
talk
black
about
and gold fan, huge black and gold fan. But yeah,
Already.
the color burst killed me. Um, anyhow, um, just like I saw him now, and I'm like, dude, this guy's music starts off with a siren, it goes into a drop with a screamo. We look very identical in stature. We both have the same type of aggressive intensity and such. And I'm like, our careers are so linear, it's ridiculous. And this is the first time I've really sat down and like really truly watched him. I saw him at Stand and Deliver when WrestleMania was in Dallas or in Arlington. It was him versus Dolph Ziggler at the time for the championship. And I'm like, man, everyone calls me a short brown breaker. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, he has lifts on his boots. If you look at his boots, he's got 2 to 3 inch lifts. We're the same height. We're the same height. So brown
it.
breaker.
Just saying. Okay, okay, okay.
I think that
Definitely,
would
definitely.
we'd make some massive money,
Oh,
tagging or against each other.
for
Oh
For
sure.
yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
Uh, Visionary. I believe it's on you.
Yeah. So Jay, how did you find wrestling? Like,
I remember being super young and just on TV seeing the I don't know what day or night it was, whatever. I don't even remember what age I was,
hmm
but it was the intro and it was Mankind throwing I'm sorry, Undertaker throwing Mankind off the cell.
a
Oh,
classic.
That was the first image that I ever like can recall in my head, and
ruthless aggression.
just glued to it because it was larger than life. You
hmm
know, it was an athletic endeavor, which I've always been an athlete, but I was also like super. I always needed the limelight. I always had stories to tell. I wrote stories a lot on paper. I was very fluent. I've got a really good vernacular. I can talk to pretty much anybody. You give me a live mic, I can do it in the crowd. I can do it in the ring. I can do it backstage. 30 seconds, a minute, 10 minutes. I can talk for no one's business. Personality, the charisma, the character, the whole thing. It just was me entirely. So I mean, why wouldn't I try it? And the little bit of a backstory here is I remember being in college when I got into the business, I don't know, this is probably going to be a question you guys are going to bring up anyway. But I was in college and I was in in my junior year, going into my senior year of college. And I remember sitting on my couch being like, what do I want to do when I graduate? And I was scrolling through my phone, and I kid you not, I followed Booker and saw a flyer for a fantasy camp. So one of my buddies that I grew up with, that we used to actually run trampoline wrestling events, me and him, we go door to door knocking, recruiting kids. It was called Extreme Backyard Wrestling. And we made all our weapons. We found out how to make fake blood. We did ladder matches. We had all the titles. We filmed it all. We used Xbox headsets as like mics or whatever. And I mean, dude, we did the whole nine. Like, we were super smart for as young as we were, and put together a really fun product. We actually had shows that we used to run, free shows that people would come from the neighborhood and watch. And anyhow, I called him up and I said, "Hey, dude, like, there's for $100, that's a full day thing." He tells me, "Oh, well, I got a girlfriend and a warehouse job, so I'm set." I said, "Bump that." So the day before, drove my car down to Texas City. I was in Denton, so it was about a 5 and a half hour or so car drive, and went to the facility. I met Abel Andrew Jackson. Actually, was the very first person I met from Reality Wrestling, and he invited me in because I was just like a creepy little kid, like looking in the windows and stuff because I didn't want to go in. And he invited me in, and so I actually sat there and talked to him for about 30 or 45 minutes before they started training. And so he's like, "Hey, we got to get to training, so I got to show you out." And I was like, "No, absolutely. I appreciate you just inviting me in. I just was just looking at the building. I wasn't even expecting to come in." And so anyway, he walked me out, and I didn't have a place to stay, so I actually slept in my car outside of the Buc-ee's down there off 45. If you've ever been to Reality Wrestling, and it's about 10 minutes, maybe about 10 or so minutes away from the venue. And the next morning, woke up, drove down there, and just competed my ass off. And Booker actually invited me to come back down and train full time. So when I graduated college, moved back down, and the rest is history. So that's pretty much the gist.
That's
Okay,
fire.
okay,
I forget
okay.
the question. I apologize. I ramble a lot.
No, you all
You
good.
know,
You
you're
all
all
good.
good. It's all about
So
storytelling.
just one last thing because we know you gotta go. We just
I
want to
appreciate it.
play a two. We just want to play a 2 minute game with you real quick. We're
I
gonna
love games.
ask you a. We just gonna ask you just a quickly loaded amount of questions in under two
Bet,
minutes, and hopefully we can
bet,
get them answered. Okay.
bet.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Let's start the timer now, and I'm gonna go with first question. Mustiest city you ever been in?
Mustiest?
Yep, the
Oh,
mustiest. As soon as you walked into the arena, you just smelled the air, and you was like, "Damn, somebody in the
honestly,
upper crowd,
I
musty."
I can't say, and I'm very spoiled. I can't say I have been in one. I honestly, God,
Okay,
Hey,
okay,
that
none.
is
okay.
Really?
great.
I've been
See,
very
that's
blessed.
the
Because
see.
I would have
Okay,
said Ohio.
Nah,
Ohio, yeah.
we
I've
had this
been very blessed.
conversation. We've had this conversation about it. 619, the Swanton bomb. Chris,
Swanton, Jeff
it's
Hardy,
on you
baby, come on.
next.
Swanton.
My
Swanton, Jeff
man's
Hardy all day.
Chris.
All right. Ooh, let's see. Clothesline from hell or Rainmaker?
Close line from hell, baby. JBL all day.
Okay.
I've never really been a big Okada fan, but
Took
I'm not
JBL
hating.
for granted years later on that
JBL's is my guy, dude. I
clothesline.
mean,
Still to this day.
if
Like
you're
I
gonna
took
throw a
that move
clothesline, you
for
want to take
granted.
someone's head off. Nobody embodied taking someone's head off like JBL.
Not at all.
I definitely took it for granted. Like it's a clip online to like clothesline from Hell's, and like he hit
Mm-hmm.
Scotty too hotty like
Oh yeah,
after he did the little worm.
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
it was just so
He
You
should
crazy.
better
kill someone, and
backflip.
I'm so
If you don't
serious.
backflip, I'm shooting it again.
Brajan,
What's your favorite sneaker of all time?
Ooh, dude, I used to be a huge sneakerhead, dude, and I have the money. I rock NMDs. I love Adidas NMDs.
Okay,
The
okay.
OG, the
classic,
OGs. The ones I'm wearing
classic
right now are
times.
actually the one I'm wearing. I'm wearing them right now. They're actually these are all black Tokyo Japans.
Ooh,
Huh.
Shout out
You can't really see them, but
Pharrell.
nice.
like so yeah, I'm a big
Shout out
NMD guy.
Pharrell
Shout
on
out
that.
Skateboard P.
Man, that's tough. That's tough. All right, visionary.
What was your favorite figure as like a kid? Like wrestling figures?
Wrestling figure, ooh,
Yeah.
dude, Batista was so big. You could maneuver
Batista?
him like I could literally maneuver him all. Like,
Oh,
you talking about action figure? Or you talking about
I got
like
Batista. Like
we
this one?
probably one similar. I think mine might be like red. He might have like maroon trunks.
Yeah, maroon
Maroon?
trucks with the
Yeah,
cut. Yeah.
yeah. You're talking about action figures, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, Batista was so big and he had so many like different movable parts. as opposed to some of the other ones were maybe a little stiffer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
True, true, true. All right. And
All
then the
right.
final question right here is the burning question, is what I'm gonna call it.
Okay.
When you're all done with wrestling and we're talking back on your career years later, and we celebrate your success in wrestling, when your boots are up in the museum for wrestlers, when you're set down in contempt with your wrestling career,
Hmm.
being in the Hall of Fame, who will Jay Alexander be? What does Jay Alexander do or attempt to do? What does he try to
So
focus on that will keep his legacy in hopes, not just inside the ring, but on the outside as well?
easy question. So I actually have it all figured out while I'm, you know, currently employed with say WWE, right? Or when I go to retire, I apologize. When I while I'm working with WWE, I have a bachelor's of science,
Mm,
and it's basically a triple major with a minor, right? But
Okay.
it's still it's 1 degree, but it encompasses 3 majors. So it's
Mm.
business, health, and psychology with a minor in marketing. And so I do plan on getting my master's, PhD. We'll see, but master's I do want to get it in nutrition because at some point I do want to become like an actual licensed nutritionist. Now, if I do decide I want to go for my PhD, then I will become a dietitian, and that's when I can run my own practice altogether. But I do want to focus more on nutrition because anybody can go in the gym and work their ass off. Trainers are a dime a dozen. They're all 15, 16-year-old kids that, want to get your muscles big, but no one concentrates on the real true fact of the matter. And that's exactly what I started with, and that's the food. What you
Mm-hmm.
put in your body and how it affects you. And everyone's so different. Everyone has deficiencies and allergies. And dude, like health and wellness is there's so much in it. It's so unique to individuals, and I can write you a program for whatever, like no one's business in the weight room, but the true gain is gonna be made in the kitchen. So I do plan on getting my master's while I'm employed in wrestling currently. So by the time that I finish, I'll have something along those lines. But to be honest, if I had to say I want to emulate anybody, I want to be the first Jay Alexander, right? But if I had to emulate anybody, it would be The Rock. And what I mean by that is he's got his own, energy drink, his own tequila. He's got his own production company. He acts. He does whatever he wants to do. Like that
Mm-hmm.
would ultimately be the goal. If I got to do some commercials, cool. If I could do some movies, awesome. If I could own some energy drink companies, awesome. If I can put up my own like supplement brand, awesome. I would love to own some gyms. Just be just a full fledged entrepreneur to the max. And then focus on nutrition. So really, when it's all said and done, I would love to have a very similar resume of accolades as The Rock. A one of a kind wrestler that everybody remembers, did great things in the WWE, but when it's my time, like I have no problem stepping aside, right? Like wrestling to me, I've always said it's a business, right? That's why you don't see me wrestle everywhere under the sun. I'm very specific when I get hit up about who I'm wrestling, how much I'm getting paid. That's first and foremost. If I'm not getting paid, I'm not interested. Um, so I'm getting paid. I'm wrestling someone that's worthwhile. There's either a story or it's a name that I can use to market myself. And it's typically TV. It's going to be big, bright lights, big, hefty crowds, loud, safe ring, great production crew. What people fail to realize in wrestling, and this is what makes the difference between a WWE and AEW, a big name talent and just an indie guy is entirely their brand, and people don't realize like you are the brand, right? So I charge what I charge, right? And if we're gonna negotiate or talk about what we're gonna talk about, we can do that with business means, but it's not personal. If I'm not gonna work, I'm not gonna work. Best of luck to you, and I hope you fill that spot. But I want Jay Alexander to be looked at as a true professional, a top guy, right? Respected, um, and high achieving, disciplined. Yeah. So when it's all said and done, that's somewhat of the rough draft of what I hope to accomplish and complete.
very understandable. And Jay, we just want to say thank you one more time for doing this interview with us.
Absolutely.
We wish we could have had you on longer, but we're gonna definitely try to get you in
We'll
for
do a part
another
two.
interview.
We'll do
Definitely
part two.
will. But other than that, we appreciate you for coming on,
Of
ladies and
course, brother.
gentlemen. We just want to give another shout out to our boy, the strong arm of the family, Jay Alexander.
Yes, sir.
Clap
We
it up.
appreciate you, sir.
I appreciate you guys, man. God bless. Thank y'all so much for having me. Truly.
Sir.
No
It
problem,
was an
no
honor.
problem. We hope we had some good questions for you. We hope,
Oh,
we
great.
were able to, be a good interview. This
No,
was
you
our
guys were. I
first one
promise.
ever.
Yeah.
Well, great.
We
Y'all did great. Trust me, I'd let you know. I don't bite my tongue for nobody.
Definitely.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
We love that, man.
With that stature, I don't know if anybody would, would
Right?
even
Say
say
something.
anything back.
Right.
Like,
Say something.
like I told the boys, like I told them, like when you told me he was a 2XL, I said that this man could put a Ford F-150 in a headlock. Like I was just like, it's
It's gonna
so
move. I'm gonna move it.
crazy. Like
Might be an inch, but I'll move it.
for being a guy that can really do it all, and for being a guy that is so professional and such a family man, and for somebody who
Hmm.
really shows his love for Texas, being in La
Amen.
Familia, being
Hmm.
with the Texas Renegades,
Hmm.
being able to have that you know that true humbleness of saying you were a homegrown talent. You was a guy
Hmm.
who really represented his entire state,
Hmm.
just being that guy to elevate and grow more as a person outside of the ring. It sounds like you being a smart-minded person already, having a plan for the future is just really dope to have. So with getting all of that from you today in such a short time, we're amazed because like you're such a great guy, it
I
seems
really
like.
appreciate
And
that, man.
so
That's very humbling. I really appreciate that. I'm blessed, brother.
guys,
I'm
do y'all
blessed.
got any things y'all want to add
Yeah,
on to
thank you,
that?
man. Can't wait for part two. We gonna come back with even more heated questions for you, buddy.
Hell yeah, guys.
Definitely. Definitely.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate y'all. Truly. Thank y'all. Y'all
Yeah.
were great.
All
Definitely.
right,
Yeah. We
boys.
also got to send you some merch too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's get it going. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I'll
Yes, sir.
represent.
Yes,
That's what's
sir.
up.
All right. And Visionary, you got anything else you want to add?
Like, if we want to try to get to wrestling, what's the best way we can get into wrestling too?
Reality wrestling. There's a lot of great schools out there.
Hmm.
You're not gonna get everything that you're gonna get at reality wrestling, and there's I can speak on that for hours on end.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't want to put out any of the secrets that set reality wrestling apart because it does make a difference who you go to school and who you're trained by. I was talking about getting down to Rhodes Academy. I got a couple buddies out there, and I wanted to meet Dustin and roll around
Hmm.
with some of those guys, and they're real nitpicky about just who just like anyone else, like who they'd let into the ring and whatever. And my guy was
Right.
like, "Oh man, like I introduced you to one of the head trainers," and he was hesitant or whatever. But he's once I said that you're a reality wrestling guy, he's oh absolutely. So who you're taught, who you're mentored by and coached, it does play a big role, and does determine your future, and it does set you apart. So I'll tell you right now, I've probably got more bookings just from going to reality wrestling than I would have if I didn't.
Right.
So who you're trained by is massive. So yeah, I would say contact Kevin Bernhardt with Reality Wrestling and just see about getting set up to come in and try it, man. I'll tell you, a lot of people have aspirations, but it takes a lot. It takes a
Yeah.
lot. It's a very unique profession thing to do. I don't even know how to explain it. It's there's nothing like professional wrestling, and I can tell you about it all day long, but you'll never know until you truly try it.
Hmm.
So
Right.
reality, hit up Kevin Bernhardt Reality Wrestling and see where it takes you, man.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, we got our boy Jay Alexander. We
Thank y'all, man. I
appreciate
appreciate
you
y'all for having me.
Yeah.
for
Truly.
sure, man. Thank you. All
All
right.
right, man. Y'all have a good day.
You
You
too,
too,
man.
man. Peace.
Thank you,
Peace,
brother.
guys.
Man, what the
Right.
fuck? Man, what the fuck, bro?